Este episodio de Breaking Libre is brought to you by Fareground. Welcome back to Breaking Libre. Before we dive in, I want to give a big thank you to Fareground, a space that brings people together, whether it's for a great meal, a business meeting, or a moment to connect with the Austin community. And today we're talking about leadership. But not just government or big businesses. Leadership happens in small businesses, in families, and in the communities we build around us. It's about taking an idea and turning it into something real, whether it's launching a brand, creating change in your city, or simply leading in your own home. And joining me today as guest co-host is someone who's really building something from the ground up, Jeffrey Schramm. Jeffrey, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Jeffrey is now launching a coffee brand with his sisters, bringing their shared vision to life. Jeff, sorry. Jeff, this is such an exciting time for you. Tell me about how this coffee brand came to be.
Yeah, well, thanks for asking and thanks for having me again. So I've been roasting coffee like out of my garage, off a tailgate of my truck for like 12 years now. And last summer I was talking about it with my sisters, and we are very sarcastic and love roasting each other. And so we figured out, like, why not combine the two?
Oh, that's awesome. What is the name of your brand?
Sibling Rivalry Coffee.
Yes, I asked you to say it because for me it's so hard to say. Sibling Rivalry.
There you go.
There you go.
Just got to slow it down just a little bit. Rivalry.
Exactly. If I slow down, I got it. Guys, this is an amazing coffee brand. Let me tell you, it's amazing. And well, now that you're launching this coffee, tell me more about the story. I know you were like roasting each other, but how you build the brand, because it has like a really cohesive message. It's so funny.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
It's a delicious coffee, but the branding is amazing. Tell me about that.
So when we were thinking about it, like how we were going to map this out, I was thinking about this as a lifestyle brand as well. And so something that people could gravitate towards, not just great specialty coffee, but like I identify with this brand as well. Like I'm the wild child or I'm the middle child, right? And that, so it has, each coffee roast has its own persona and roasting style. So the wild child, the shirt I'm wearing now, is like our boldest roast, our darkest roast, for those who like a little bit of chaos and uncertainty and live boldly, right? My personal favorite, though, is the golden child.
Mine too. I'm the golden child.
That's right.
That refers to the oldest children, right?
Most of the time, yeah, most of the time.
Okay, so tell me about that. Tell me about the golden child coffee, because that's my favorite, but I don't know as much about coffee. So how would you describe that?
Yeah.
That one.
So very bright, clean flavors, really easy to drink. It's our blonde roast. If you've ever had other coffees like that, it'll be very similar to that, but just really smooth, really easy to drink. And we call it the roast that shines above the rest.
Exactly. That's how the oldest daughter and oldest son is most of the time. Starting a new business is always a huge step, right? Yeah. But launching it with your family brings a whole new dynamic. How did the idea of launching a coffee brand with your sisters, it's going so far?
So it depends on the day. It depends on the call. Some are definitely, so it's interesting. We all have our own, day jobs and are doing our own things as we build this up and hopefully turn this side hustle into something big and awesome and beautiful. So navigating those calls with each other, sometimes people, show up more than others or very involved in certain areas than others. And then Tierney is also pregnant right now. So that's,
wow.
And has a 2-year-old. So she's dealing with that. And then
How
we
many
all have
siblings are you guys?
4. So 5 total, right?
5.
Yeah.
4 sisters and you are.
And the solo boy here. Yeah.
Okay. So how you guys came up with the branding, who's in charge of what? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so I would say I led with the idea of saying, like, here are the, we iterated back and forth, and we've all had, significant contributions to it, but I think I presented the initial, like, let's go this way. I think I think Wild Child was the black sheep at first, and so black sheep might come back at some point.
I love to. I love to. So you're more on the creative side of it.
Yeah,
The concept.
I was like, let's make this, let's make this a lifestyle brand that has its own personality, and that people again can identify with, and wear this shirt with pride and say this coffee not only tastes amazing, but it also represents me like as an individual.
Exactly. What piece of advice would you give someone who's thinking about starting business with family? Is it more difficult? Have you been doing endeavors with people that is not your family? What's the difference between the two?
Yeah, so I think I would say definitely try to clearly define roles ahead of time. So think about individual strengths and lean into those, and don't your family. It's hard to change, and most people, especially the older we get, it's harder to change. Habits are ingrained, and so if one family member is not good being on camera or doesn't want to be on camera or do those things, don't force them to do that, right? Find their niche, find what they're good at, and maybe that's accounting or QuickBooks or whatever, right? Like there's a job for somebody to do somewhere
where they can shine, right?
Yes, exactly.
That is great. So it's a lot of leadership involved in building a business, even if it's your family, because you can know your sister from forever, but it's not the same as having her as a business partner.
Yeah.
So what has been the biggest challenge so far?
I think our biggest challenge so far is staying organized and on track. And so with all of our different lives and our jobs and our kids, and also not living in the same town, Tierney and Rachel are in Dallas, Tanya's in Chicago, Anna Marie's in Corpus, and I'm here in Austin.
Wow, I didn't know that, Jeff. That brings us to a whole new level
so
of
most of
organizing.
it's done like WebEx, right? Most of our calls are like that, and so it's even harder to stay on top and stay organized and get things done.
You guys are doing great. What is your vision for this brand?
So the vision was to kick it off online, see how it does, see how people resonate with it, how they connect with it. And so far, that's been amazing. That's been awesome. Everybody we've talked to about it is like, oh my God, this is me. This is my brother. This is my sister. So that's been super cool. And I think ultimately we'd like to get into retail locations and have our own shops and have a presence like on the ground.
That's amazing, especially you being in Austin. We were talking about that in other episodes, about how awesome is the Austin community supporting other businesses or small businesses, right? And have you connected with other coffee rosters, or how is that seen?
Yeah, so been really good friends with Michael from Medici Roasting, and they actually help us with all the roasting. Because I could only do so much for my truck. So I couldn't, roasting 12 ounces at a time is like one bag at a time. And so that's cool for playing around and testing and like giving things out to people. But for scaling it just wouldn't work. So we partnered with Medici. They're awesome. They have like 8 cafes around the city, and they're in Central Market and a bunch of grocery stores. So they've been super supportive as well. And so the other cool thing about us is, like a lot of industries, mostly male dominated. And so coffee is no exception. And so we're a bit different in that there's 4 of them and only 1 of me. So we're a majority women-owned company.
And I love that they can bring their vision to life. Of course, you are siblings, right?
Yeah.
But there's always, is it a rivalry between you guys?
No, I mean, between the girls more so, yeah, for sure. Especially like growing up, right? So I was kind of always, on the outskirts,
And you were the oldest.
I was orbiting around all of it.
That is so funny. Do you have a favorite sister?
Depends on the call.
Exactly.
For sure. No, I will highlight Anna Marie. She's been stepping up a lot lately and taking a lot of initiative, making most of our posts right now, keeping our social.
On the social. She's in charge of social media.
Kind of wasn't supposed to be originally, but has kind of fallen into that role. Tierney is amazing at it. It's like what she does for her day job, but also has a 2-year-old toddler and is pregnant and doing a day job. And so we're cutting her a little bit of slack right now. And eventually, I hope she'll be more involved in that.
Absolutely. I love that. And tell me, before we go to our this or that, I love that section. What do you love the most about Austin?
I think it's really a place where you can just be yourself. Like you don't have to think about who you are, what you look like, where you came from. Right? None of that matters. Nobody really cares about that here. And you can just do you and be cool with it.
I love it. What's your favorite place in Austin to hang out?
Besides Fareground?
Besides Fairground, of course.
You know, I love walking the trails. If I'm going to go have a cocktail, there's a place called Small Victories down the street that I really like. It's kind of hidden away. They do an awesome job here. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so let's go to These or That Coffee Edition. I'll give you two options, and
Cool.
you have to pick one, and please go with your gut.
Okay.
Would you rather espresso or cold brew?
Man, I got it. It's tough. It's a tough one. Because most days it's so hot, you want cold brew, but I have more espresso. Yeah, so I'm going to go espresso.
Me too, 100%. I love a cold brew, but espresso is my favorite. Classic black coffee or fancy specialty drink?
Well, you know, looking at our friends over there at Desnudo, I'm going to go fancy specialty drink because their Shoyu butterscotch latte is amazing.
You got me into that one. That's my favorite. And yeah, me too. I will do the same. But on a daily basis, I will go with my black coffee.
Yeah.
A slow morning power over at home or grabbing coffee on the go?
Yeah, every morning it's a slow pour over with the AeroPress.
That's amazing. I would love that too. Would you rather latte art perfection or strong no frills coffee?
I'm gonna go strong, no frills coffee. Made a video earlier that said latte art is for middle children who need attention.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Opening a cozy neighborhood cafe or scaling to multiple locations?
It's tough. I think, you know, starting off with the neighborhood spot makes the most sense for us.
Yes, I agree. I think,
Making that connection.
Exactly. And I think Austin and the surrounding areas is about making the connection with your community and people. When people embrace a brand or a business here in Austin, I mean, the sky's the limit because they support you, they shout you out, they share you on social.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I'm sure it's going to happen for...
Right, and you think about what Desnudo did, right? Starting off with the one
Exactly.
trailer on the east side, took them a couple years, but now we brought them here to Fairground, and there was instantly a line. People were like, cannot wait to get their coffee.
Exactly. If you don't know that this noodle is here at Fairground, you have to come visit Fairground 111 Congress Avenue, right in the center of the heart of downtown. I love coffee because just like business, it's about finding your unique style and what works best for you. How would you define the style of Sibling Rivalry?
So we started off with 3 different roasts. Try to cover the bases there. There's the Golden Child, which is like the light roast, really easy drinking. A middle Child medium, which is like it could be espresso or a really good drip coffee. And then you have the Wild Child, which is like the bold, big flavor, dark roast. And so like covering that spectrum there to give something for everybody.
I love it. And I have a question from the audience, and let's try to give him some advice or our thoughts here. They say, how can someone balance making bold decisions while keeping people on your side when you're trying to build something?
So I'd say there's a book called Never Split the Difference, and it's an amazing book, and it goes through all these different tactics about how almost every single conversation you have in your life is a negotiation of some sort. And so a lot of times when I'm doing like a big bold decision, I'll call out, like, you might think I'm a jerk for saying this, or you might think I'm crazy for saying this. And when you do that, you kind of diffuse any negativity they might have because you're self-labeling.
Okay.
And so leading in with that, right? Like, you might think I'm a jerk because I'm going to ask you to do this and you're not going to want to do it. That immediately like brings down the temperature and
that's a great
gets people on board.
strategy. Yeah, that no doubt you are a true negotiator.
That's right.
I'm excited to have you here. And just a final thought for people trying to make an idea come to life. What would you say to those people that are maybe afraid of leading something? Because you did with your sisters, right? You started leading this idea into a business. So what would you advise? What would advice would be?
I'd say think about whatever it is you're doing, think about what it is you love doing. And so maybe that's trading Pokemon cards. I don't know. Whatever you're passionate about, attain that feeling inside and then go tackle whatever it is you're going to do.
I love it. And just to close out this episode that I love so much, thank you so much to Vanessa Fuentes, our Mayor Pro Tem, for being here with us. She's amazing. You have to follow her. And something that you would like to say to people about your brand, where they can find you, Jeff?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now it's just online only. So siblingrivalry.coffee, and then Sibling Rivalry Coffee on Instagram. And that's really it for now. But the more you find us, the more you'll find us soon in a spot of our own. So
that is amazing. I can't wait for you to come here again and tell us everything about it. Thank you so much, Jeff. You're amazing. And thank you guys for being here. See you next time on Breaking Libre.